Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Welcome, my name is Aiden. I am so happy that you are here for another 4 for 4. Ignore like my face makeup. The bronzer that I'm using was a little bit more intense than I was planning. So it's a little much for my taste. Anyway, today is a 4 for 4. If you haven't watched my 4 for 4s before, I will have a playlist up above. I've done several of them over the past couple years, and today are all colorful eyeshadows. I have some newer ones, I have some older ones. So these are the 4 that I have this time. I have the Femme from Too Faced palette, and there's actually an extra world Ethereal eye palette. There we go. Then I have from Nabla the Poison Garden palette. I also have Beaute Nostalgia. That is what I'm wearing on my eyes. It's bright, it's colorful. And then I have from Lunar Beauty, this is the Strawberry Dream palette. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like or a dislike. Either one works. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Have you tried any of these palettes? What are your thoughts and opinions on these palettes? What would you like me to see? What would you like to see me do? There we go. In the future, let me know that down below for these 4 for 4s, or if you want them to go away. You can let me know that too. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed already. We're going to go right in the order that I just talked about them. So we're going to start with the Too Faced Femme Ethereal eye palette. They also did a blush in this one as well. As you can see, I have made quite a dent into this. Some of those shimmer shades have bigger fingerprints than other ones. These I found that you really do need to put on with a finger. It doesn't pick up with a brush very well at all. Okay, so there are 14 shades in this palette. As you can see, there are a good number of shimmers in there. You have like 3 shimmers that are very almost like toppers more so than actual shimmers. Then you have a good shimmer here and a good shimmer here that are more traditional shimmers. You have 8 mattes as well. So this is going to be kind of shocking looking at the swatches. So you have a couple really light shades right up at the top. You can kind of tell that there's one there. There's another one over here, but it's pretty hard to see as well. Then you have, you know, some other shimmers. Some of them show up better than others. I'm going to take this pink shade here and I'm going to build it up a little bit over the top of that other. So it does kind of build up. You can build them up, and that's what I found this when I was wearing this the past 4 days, and I liked this palette. It's not that I don't like this palette. I kind of liked the looks that I came up with it. I felt like they were very pretty. They were very subtle, which was fine because like today is too bold of a look. This is not something I normally would wear. This was more like an everyday palette for me, which is kind of funny because when I look at it, I think it's pretty colorful. I feel like the colors in here, there's a lot of colors, and I liked it. It's not a love for me. If you want something that's going to pack a punch though, this is not it. The pastels are very pastel-y. You would think that they would figure out a way to make them light colored but still have impact. This one is actually doing better than I thought it was going to be honest. And like I said, those glitter shades are really more of toppers. You can wet them a little bit and get a little bit more of a impact if they're wet, but I don't really do that. So that's not something that I am used to or that I really like try to do with my eyeshadows. So this one ended up being more of an everyday type of eyeshadow palette for me. I felt like most of the colors worked really nicely for neutral everyday work shades. So like these 3 down here, great for that. The shimmers even, they worked well for that. And then we have this over here. It's really just this quad right here that is not everyday shades or that I wouldn't feel comfortable really going to work in. But other than that, I feel like this was actually ended up being an everyday kind of work palette for me, which I was not expecting given the colors. Okay, next up is the Nabla Poison Garden palette. This one is a 15 pan palette, and you do get a large mirror in there. And then you have a whole variety of shades. You got some darker shades in here that are more colorful. You got some nice neutrals in there too. So I feel like this one is kind of bridges that gap between like colorful and neutral. So you could wear this to work, but there's enough in here also that you could do some bold, colorful looks as well. So this one I've had for a little bit. I got this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. That's when I buy all of my Nabla palettes. I have so many of them. It was all I could do this year to not order anymore because there's like 3 newer ones that I don't have, and I was like, oh, I want them. And then I was like, no, because the one was like blue based. I don't wear a lot of blue. The other one was like orangey. I don't wear a lot of oranges. And then the other one was like super neutral, and I was like, I don't need another neutral palette, even though I really love the formula from Nabla. So this one, there are a couple shades that I still haven't worn at all yet. So this one right here, this Archetype, I have not worn. It's a shimmer, and then I haven't worn the blue one either because it's a lot. It's a big thing, and I wasn't quite sure how to make it work with the rest of the things. So that is why I haven't worn those. Of the 15 shades, you have 6 shimmer shades, and then you have 9 mattes. This is what they all look like swatch. As you can tell, they have a lot more presence. You're going to see a lot. Even this lightest one down here, which is this corner shade right here, that still has a big presence to it. You have some really pretty shimmers. This shimmer is more of a topper. As you can kind of see, it kind of has a dual chrome shift to it, but it doesn't have a lot of presence on the eye. It's something that I would definitely put on top of something else. So that's what they look like. They are really pigmented. They go on really well. These are so soft and creamy. I mean, the Too Faced ones were really soft too. I really enjoyed the mattes in that palette, but these mattes are just like a step above. These are unlike I don't have any other mattes in my collection that are like this. So I really do enjoy this palette. Maybe not my favorite color story from Nabla, just given the colors in here, but I still think it's a really nice one, and I still am counting it as a colorful palette, even though it's kind of neutral like the last one too. All right, next we have Ace Beaute. This is the Nostalgia palette. I just got this one in my February BoxyCharm because I resubscribed because it was half price, and this was not listed as one of like the possible things in. So I just got a box of kind of leftovers. So it's been around for a little while. It does have a mirror, which is nice. And it's bright. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I have this one flip-flops in my like crease. Then I have raspberry on the outer corner. And then I have heat. That's the shimmer shade on the inside of my lids. I just went with those 3. I have not had a chance to try Carnival or Picnic, which is that hot pink, or Vacation, the orange. Those are a little more scary. Yesterday I did one that I actually kind of liked. I did water slide in my like crease, and then I did a little theme park on the outside, and then fun basically almost all over the lid. So that was kind of nice. I did do like a neutrally type look, like this is a good neutral, this is a good neutral, and then like the brown and camping with, you know, one of the 3 shimmer shades. This is very light on shimmer shades. I found I could do some more everyday type of looks, and then some really crazy looks. Like today I feel like is really bright. Not exactly what I'm most comfortable with in terms of eyeshadow, but I was trying to get as many colors tried on as possible. Here they all are swatched. Look at that green, the theme park. I noticed that it's doing some funky things. It did not want to swatch very well, and I went back and forth over it a couple times trying to get it so that it didn't, like it went on so lightly, but then I had like a big glob too. I did not have an issue when I was putting it on my lids though, other than there was some fallout. So this palette, I probably would do my eyes first, even though that is not something that I ever do or that I'm used to, because this did have some fallout, especially today. Like I had quite a bit of fallout. I had to go back in with my beauty sponge and like try to get rid of all of the color underneath my eyes because there was a lot of it. So as you can see, there are lots of bright colors. The mattes are fine. Like I said, they go on better than they swatched. There is staining. My fingers are stained from swatching this palette as opposed to Here, we'll show. You can see that I have a lot of staining, and I'm going to go try to get that off before I work on my last palette. So there was staining on my eyes when I used, I think this, I did some brown, like these two together maybe. I had staining on my eyes anyway, and I was like, oh, okay, not something I'm used to, but I'm assuming that I'm probably going to have staining on my eyes after I take off these shadows as well. But the purples, like the purples went on pretty good. I went in very, very lightly, like so lightly with flip-flops, a little bit heavier with raspberry, but yes, this is definitely one that you want to go in very lightly with. All right, we are on to the last palette. This is the Strawberry Dream palette by Lunar Beauty. This one does not lay flat. It does have like a little raised thing right here, which can be, you know, if you're trying to stack them, this one has to go on the top, even though it's the largest of all the palettes. So inside you have 15 shades. There is a huge mirror. I did use this mirror in my Merit Beauty video. This was really great to put on lipstick too. It's a really nice mirror. Okay, so lots of shades in here. You have a lot of pinks. There is staining. My fingers are pretty stained. We're gonna, you know, makeup wipes, we're not cutting it, so I have a makeup melter spray from my BoxyCharm box, so I'm going to be trying that to see if that works, because I'm sure I'm going to have staining on my hand as well, where I did all the swatches. So in here you do have 6 shimmers and then 9 mattes. So you have this row of mattes here, and then the middle row, I really liked the middle row. I feel like I kind of bunged it up a little bit. It does have like a moon on each one and some stars. There are some really pretty colors in here. There is like these have a presence though, and some of them are a little bit more intense than others. So here they all are swatched. This one right here, it is so chunky. Oh my goodness, it is chunky. It's smooth, but it takes a lot of work, and it's very flaky, I guess. It's not like a chunky glitter in the normal sense. There are some beautiful shades. I love these 4 shimmers right here because they are almost like everyday shimmers. Like I really could get a lot of work with them done. I liked these 2 shades. I even liked like these 3 here. The bottom row, other than the shimmer, the lightning, this one is really cool. That's this one over here that's by itself as a shimmer. It's really pretty. It looked really cool. I did the 2 blues together with this lightning, and it worked really well. I got some crazy looks out of it. This was actually a really good shade. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this shade at all, just because it is not really one that I normally reach for. The gold is really pretty. I really liked all of the shades. I don't know if this is a palette that I would necessarily recommend though, because it's, you know, it's not the best everyday type of a palette, but I really did enjoy the formula on it. So both of the last palettes left quite a bit of staining on my fingers and also on my skin, and they did leave some staining when I was wearing them too. So just keep that in mind. That's why they're considered pressed pigment palettes for the most part, rather than eyeshadow palettes. Just a warning. Okay, are you ready for my rankings? I am going to rank these based on a couple things: how I enjoyed the eye looks that I created, ease of use, and they all lasted about the same amount of time. So like longevity is not an issue that I face with any of these. I always have a good eye primer on though, so that could be, you know, something to think about for other, like if you have issues with longevity. I didn't have issues with that with any of these. So it's, you know, it's ease of use, how much I see myself reaching for them, and my comfortability wearing these palettes. So the one I probably felt the least comfortable in is the Ace Beaute, the Nostalgia palette, just because there's a lot of bright colors. I was able to find some looks in here that I did enjoy. You know, I probably would stick, I might use the raspberry again, but with some of the, you know, more neutrally type shades instead of with flip-flops. Yeah, maybe. So I just felt like this one had fallout, so ease of use was not as good as other palettes, and then also just a lot of really crazy colors, so not the easiest palette to use. In third place, I'm going to put the Strawberry Dream palette from Lunar Beauty because of, you know, this shade. Oh my gosh, this gets everywhere. It's on the mirror. It was on my pants. So that issue is a problem for me. And I do like the shades in here. There's those two blues. I don't wear the two blues. The two blues were not what I felt comfortable with or what I normally would reach for. So those I will not be reaching for probably again, but there are some other nice shades in there. So I'm not going to declutter any of these palettes, but there are ones that I see myself reaching for more often than others. In second place, I'm going to put the Too Faced Femme Ethereal Eye. Now, the reason this one aimed a little higher is because I let go my notion of this being a colorful palette, and I've really just embraced this being a palette that I could wear for everyday work looks. Like, this could be a palette that I could, I mean, it would take me forever to pan this, but I could see myself, it smells like roses. I didn't know it was supposed to be scented, but I'm definitely getting, nope, it's definitely that. Even though my makeup wipes are supposed to be rose scented, this has a stronger scent to it. I can see myself using this as an everyday palette, and I could probably pan this if I just concentrated on one palette by itself. It's very pretty. I do like the packaging, and I like that it's kind of compact for those 14 shades as opposed to like how big some of these other ones are. Which means in first place is the Nabla Poison Garden palette. Honestly, I kind of figured that this would be pretty high. This isn't the most colorful palette. Looking at it now, it felt like it was going to be more colorful, and then I got some really colorful palettes that I pulled as well. So I do like this. I really like the mattes in here. I really like the shimmers in here as well. I think it's a great formula. I think it's a nice palette. Is it my favorite of all the Nablas? No, it is not, but I still think it was the clear winner for this group. So that is my 4 for 4. Those are my colorful palettes. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions on them down below. Have you tried any of them? I hope you are all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye.